are stories that connect us to ourselves and each other. These stories reveal who we are and show us the many vivid, wild colors of our truth. Welcome to Soul Wanderings, where we raise spiritual awareness and foster connections through these shared stories and personal experiences. And now, exclusively on KGRA Radio, I give you your host for Soul Wanderings Radio. Here's AJ.
Hello, happy day, friend. It's time for some soul wandering, the opportunity to hear journey stories, experiences from all kinds of people, all walks of life, who show up to share authentic pieces of themselves with all of us. I'm AJ Rasmussen, your host, and I'm happy to have you here with us this evening. Soul Wanderings is a comfy, cozy, warm, and fuzzy get-together where we meet so many incredible humans, but in the comfort of our own spaces, we get to talk about all things spiritual, paranormal, motivational, metaphysical, inspirational, all the things that help us learn and grow. So thank you for spending time with us this evening. You can participate during the show if you are interested in doing so. And if you're listening live with us, that's the best way. You have the opportunity to join us in the chat room, and that's hosted on kgraradio.com. And while we wander with our guests, I also hang out in the chat room with you. It's a fun, interactive way to engage in conversation behind the scenes. And if you do have those questions, you can ask them in the chat room by typing them all in caps. That way I can grab them easily and ask our guest as time allows. And just like always, I like to get right into our wandering because, as I say every week, this show goes by so fast. And I know all of you guys agree because you're always wanting more. So without further ado, let's begin to wander. Elliott Robertson is a happiness coach and a certified happiness workshop leader. He leads workshops on cultivating happiness. He's also the author of Say Yes to Life, 7 Keys to Living Full Out from Within. And he has written devotionals from the Daily Word magazine, as well as articles for Science of the Mind and Miracles magazine. He's assisted for rebirth retreats, as well as awareness seminars, and he also holds a master's degree in psychology. Through the course of his journey, he has discovered keys to opening the doorway to the realm of day-to-day authentic happiness. He is committed to sharing these keys in boot camps and private coaching, and he is with us tonight to share his journeys and experiences with us as well. Please welcome to the show, Elliott Robertson.
Thank you so much for having me on. What a joy to be here.
I am excited to have you here, especially because you focus on happiness. And I'm always that girl that's like, have a happy day. Happy, happy, happy. So this is right up my alley. You're going to fit right in.
Wonderful.
All right, Elliott. So I'm not sure if you've heard any of our shows before, but I always like to ask the guest to share a little bit about themselves right from the get-go. Like, who is Elliott?
Who is Elliott? That's something I'm still discovering. So I'm not sure if I'm going to actually have an answer to that question until maybe after I die. And at the same time, I am a happiness coach. And, you know, I did grow up in a state of misery. So there's been a big contrast in my life. When I was in New York in my 20s, I would just walk around the city. I would see people at outdoor cafes that I couldn't afford. I had very low self-esteem, and so I had entry-level jobs, one entry-level job after another. They always paid peanuts. And I was just always saying life is unfair. I was really having a lot of jealousy and a lot of bitterness, and sort of arguing with God about how I got the short end of the stick, and everything was so unfair. And so that was a period of my life that lasted for quite a while. And I don't know if I really thought of myself as being unhappy back then. Occasionally people would say, "Oh, you got a new job. I hope you're happier now." And I would be like, "Wait, am I really unhappy?" But looking back, it's really apparent to me that I had a lot of unhappiness and bitterness.
Mm. So if that was your experience growing up, obviously you've shifted that. You've shifted that energy inside of you. You're not that same person. Just like you said in the beginning, who is Elliott now? Like you're still working on developing yourself and learning who you are.
Yes, and also allowing who I am to be revealed. So it's both discovery and revelation, I suppose.
That's so good.
Yeah, I think the turning point eventually, I guess that because of slow, gradual spiritual growth, I just came to a point where I just really was aware of how I could either continue on this trajectory of jealousy and bitterness, or I could take ownership of where I was in my life, take ownership of everything, and especially stop blaming, stop complaining, stop shaming myself. And that was the key pivoting moment. I began to have more awareness about what I was doing and how I was blaming God and blaming my father, although my father never did anything, just blaming whatever I could blame.
We do that, though, when we're in that state of mind, like everything sucks.
Yeah. And we give our power away when we blame. It just means this is the way it is. This is the way I am. There's nothing I can do about it. It really is getting stuck.
Well, there's so many people. It's contagious, obviously, just like happiness is, or a more positive state of being is. When you're around someone who's really down in the dumps, if you aren't in check with your own emotions, you can easily go down in the dumps with them.
Yeah, I think it can rub off. You do need to be careful about who you're surrounding yourself with. That can help.
Yeah, absolutely. Surrounding yourself with the people who are going to assist you in looking at things in a different way and supporting you on your path, it will take on a whole new meaning as you are going through these experiences, no doubt. Yes.
And just to say a little bit more about my background, I guess I was talking a little bit about how I was as a young man. But to go back further, I grew up with a mother who struggled with depression. And I think we had a spiritual contract, a soul-level contract, for me to be her son and her to be my mother. And I think the reason was because it sort of got me clear about what I wanted my mission to be in life. Let me tell you about how I discovered my mission in life. I was 20 years old. I was listening to a couple of acquaintances, a couple of young ladies talk, and they were just both saying and agreeing with one another. They were both saying, "I want to heal the world." And as soon as I heard that, just like a flash of lightning, I knew that in my case it was a little bit different. I knew I wanted to uplift the world. And I was like, no, I don't want to heal the world. And since then I've become much more embracing of both. But at that moment, it was all about uplifting the world. I think that when I go about uplifting the world, when anyone helps to uplift their own spirits or other people's spirits, it does also include healing. And I do have a lot of respect for shamans and for those who have the mission of healing the world. It's just that for me, it's all about uplifting the world. And I think the seed was planted because of my love for my mother and, my relationship with her and how she was struggling with happiness.
I love that you brought up soul contracts. That's one of my favorite topics to discuss. So maybe we'll go down that road a little bit later in the show. But having the opportunity at such a young age to understand that is a calling in your life is huge, because not many of us realize that until we're much older.
Yeah, I was really fortunate to have that moment of clarity that just came to me from out of the blue. I guess I was 19 or so.
Well, I'm really glad that you shared that, because it gives people hope that even if they're not in a place and to understand, what their purpose or calling is, that it can happen. It can happen for all of us, and it does happen. It is something that is easily obtained if we open our hearts and our minds to getting those answers, receiving those answers. On your bio, you put that you're a love and joy coach.
Yes, I used to call myself a happiness coach, and I think you may have introduced me as a happiness coach just a moment or two ago. And then I sort of changed my bio and changed my title to love and joy coach. It's really the same thing as a happiness coach. I just felt like some people think of happiness as somewhat shallow. Mm-hmm. It's a tricky word. It has different associations with different people. And so I just thought it might be a little bit clearer to say I'm a love and joy coach. I haven't changed the workshop, the private coaching I do, but I just thought I would change the way I express the title.
I like that. I was reading that after the fact, after I had taken note of you being a happiness coach, and seeing that you had also put down that you were a love and joy coach. And I really like that, because so many people look at happiness as something that they want to obtain, but also at the same time that it's very unrealistic. For me personally, I am all about happiness and looking at things in the most positive way I can. But life is what it is, as we all know, and it's not possible to be 100% happy all of the time.
That's right. And you know what? I never talk about happiness with any of my clients. I'm delighted to talk about happiness, of course, this evening with you. But when I'm working with clients, the focus for me is always inner harmony. You might want to think about inner harmony as a tree. And if the tree is going to be healthy, if the tree is a healthy tree, and there's a lot of inner harmony in you, mm-hmm. then happiness might show up. There's a much better chance of happiness showing up when you've got a lot of inner harmony going on. So my focus is to fertilize the harmony tree, to cultivate inner harmony within, to encourage people to cultivate harmony within themselves. Mm-hmm. And then once that's there, and also alignment, that's another good tree to fertilize, the alignment tree. Those kinds of things end out having happiness sort of as a side effect. You're not focused on happiness. You're not chasing after it, because that can be a trap. That can make it elusive. Yes. But when you've got the inner harmony when you're really tending to that on a daily basis, the happiness will show up.
All of this just feels really good and more authentic to me than anything. In the industry that I'm in, I have a mind, body, spirit shop. And so many people I find are just always seeking to have the ultimate happiness and always chasing on to the next thing because it's going to make them so happy. And they're forgetting the little steps or bites along the way that end up creating the happiness. They're so focused on that chase of the emotion and the feeling of happiness that they're forgetting the foundation of what builds that happiness.
That's such a commonplace thing. At least I seem to encounter people who are falling into that trap quite a lot. It's kind of like, imagine, you're just putting pearls on a necklace, on a string for a wonderful necklace. And so every day you're thinking, well, what pearl am I going to find today out in the outer world? Mm-hmm. What event or exciting, extraordinary happening is going to happen today that I can add to the necklace? And you're sort of making the necklace or the happiness, your inner experience kind of depend on, tied to the outer happenings. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with going out for drinks with your friends after you get a promotion or whatever and celebrating it. I love celebrating when you have something to celebrate. That's wonderful. I call that happy for a good reason. Mm. And I'm really interested, however, in the happy for no reason part of it. I think that the mystics may have been happy for no reason. They may have been having rather mundane lives when they were doing the dishes every day and worshiping every day. And yet, even without any reasons for being happy, I think many of the mystics did find their way to a day-to-day high level of happiness, a default happiness that they just return to every day throughout the day. That's the kind of happiness level that I try to help people raise a notch and then another notch.
That feels really good. Going back to your young adulthood when you made this decision, what were some of the things that you did to cultivate this happiness in your life and really build upon your new belief?
I'm not so sure that during my youth, when I was having that miserable era in my life, series of years in my life, I'm not so sure I was doing much of anything specifically, or I don't think I really had any habits or routines. I was, reading a lot of books, the kinds that Hay House publishes and stuff, and I was occasionally doing rebirthing, which is a wonderful form of breath work. I was showing up sometimes at awareness seminars and participating and assisting with those things. So I kind of had a hodgepodge of different influences that were helping me along the way. And I guess since turning the corner, I have become much more disciplined, I suppose, about self-care and about fertilizing the inner harmony in me. So this adventure, in a way, is a fairly new adventure for me. It wasn't really. It was more haphazard when I was in my youth, and it's more conscious now.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful, though, because it is a developing. I mean, we all develop these emotions and skills along the way. That's part of the journey.
Yes, and that's the good news. We all have room to grow. Even if we've been doing a lot of growing, I still feel like I have a lot of room to grow. And I also look back and acknowledge myself for the long way that I've come over the years.
That's part of the journey, though, right? The celebration of how far you've come, like looking back to where you were to where you are now.
Absolutely. That can be really powerful and helpful, to be grateful for the journey you've taken, to be grateful for every insight that you've had and all the things you've learned, and to notice how, in some ways I'm a different person now when I think back to who I was when I was 20 versus now.
Right. And it doesn't even have to be like, for those who are listening and feeling kind of defeated that they're not like completely blissed out or happy. It does take time to develop a different perspective on your life and your situations to get to a point where you can look at it with like different eyes. Wouldn't you agree, Elliott?
Yes, I think that spiritual growth, at least for me, is a gradual process, and therefore you do need to be consistent. Being consistent can help. For example, I have an exercise that helps with appreciating who you are and appreciating life. And the exercise won't do you much good if you just do it one day, but if you do it for 30 days in a row, that'll help. So it is something that does take time.
Why did you say 30 days?
That's just the magic number that I keep hearing the authorities say, and I've been following suit, and I think there might be something to it.
Well, I've read several self-help books and mentor books and things like that. And they do talk about habits, and creating new habits takes so many days, and everyone has a different number. So I was just wondering if where that number came from in that regards. But I think 30 is a good number. I've heard it 15, 21, but 30 seems very reasonable to create a new habit or change in belief.
Yeah, I've also heard some people say 15 or 21 is the number to go for creating a new habit. And I haven't really done a lot of research on this, so I'm not an expert. But I do like to go for the gold and make sure we've got enough days.
Yeah, it does help. Absolutely does help. I would agree. And even with if you're not working on that emotion in particular, but like breaking habits, changing your beliefs, starting a new exercise program or whatever that looks like, it's completely possible to do within 30 days, if you ask me. If you put your mind to it, your mind is such a powerful tool. You can completely have that reality if you decide to.
Yes, and as far as going to the gym goes, my secret to having discipline around that was to just allow myself to just show up at the gym and work out for a minute or two for the first 30 days or so. And then after that, after I had caught on to the habit, it was so much easier. And I could extend my gym stays naturally. I wanted to stay longer.
Yeah, it really is just getting there, right? Just making that first step and putting in that effort, and it becomes easier and easier, no doubt.
Yeah, you get momentum. Mm-hmm.
And then after a few visits to the gym, obviously you were there longer than a couple of minutes.
Yeah, eventually it got up to something more than that, yeah.
Yeah, it's really neat how it works when you make that commitment and you say it to yourself and say it out loud to the universe. Amazing things will start to take place.
Indeed.
Going back to your childhood, is there anything else you want to share with us before our first break that you feel important to the journey you're going to share with us after?
Nothing comes to mind.
Okay, perfect. Well, we'll leave it there then, and we'll take our first break. And when we get back, we're going to learn more about Elliott and what he's doing out into the world here and now, today, how he's showing up for us. And we'll learn more about the work he does and his book he has for us to learn more about and ways that we can get our hands on a copy. We'll be right back, you guys. Stay close.
Intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app. Free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Hi, Matt Ray with America's First News here, and I have great news for those of you who suffer with debilitating migraine headaches, maybe a loved one or your child does. MigraLief, the nutritional migraine supplement everyone's talking about, now can be found at the vitamin shop stores nationwide and Meijer in the Midwest. For almost 2 decades, hundreds of thousands of migraine sufferers have benefited from MigraLief, and thousands of neurologists and headache specialists recommend it. Why is it popular? It's drug-free and addresses the specific nutritional needs of adults and children who suffer migraines. What's even better, MigraLeaf comes in a formula you can take daily and one on the spot as needed. So if you get migraines, get your life back on track. Go to MIG911.com. That's MIG and the numbers 911.com. That's also where you can read the testimonials. Or head on over to your local vitamin shop store nationwide or Meijer in the Midwest. If you get migraines, do yourself a favor. Change your life with MigraLeaf.
Feeling sluggish, bloated, gassy, and, well, you know, want some relief? Try Life Change Tea at GetTheTea.com. Our unique blend of all-natural herbs go to work on your digestive tract, giving you So before you try our super strength formula. It does a great job removing intruders that jack you up. Thousands of people use Life Change Tea every month, so try it because you're gonna love the way you feel. And here's a little pick-me-up. Order now and receive 10% off your first order by entering in 10 today in the coupon code. That's 10 today in the coupon code. Go to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Enter 10 today in the coupon code for your 10% discount. Wow, feeling good never felt so good. Get some tea love at getthetea.com. Changing America one tea bag at a time.
Saucer is the leading innovator of original and authentic UFO-inspired essentials and apparel, symbolizing self-enrichment and advancement. Believe in style and elevate your craft at thesaucerbrand.com.
This is Soul Wanderings Radio. Find the podcast on iTunes, iHeart, and Spotify. KGRARadio.com.
Everyone, welcome back to the show. You are listening to Soul Wanderings here on KGRARadio.com. And we are wandering with our guest tonight, Elliott Robertson. And Elliott, you have a lot to share with us. This is really exciting to have you here. He is the author of a book called Say Yes to Life, 7 Keys to Living Full Out from Within. Just before the break, we were discussing happiness. That word, that emotion, that feeling that we're all chasing around. We all want to be happy, feel happiness, find that bliss in our lives. And Elliott, you have some keys on how we can do that.
Yeah.
You've shared some with us.
Yeah. I'd be glad to talk a little bit about the hidden secrets of happiness. A lot of people, just try to take a direct route to happiness. Like if you imagine happiness as a house, everyone tends to go to the front door of the house and try to open up that front door. So they'll have more happiness. And the door doesn't budge. The door doesn't open it at all. It really is stuck. So I like to think in terms of going to the back doors. The back doors include, one of the ones that's my favorite is the back door of inner harmony. There's also the back door of poise, and maybe we can talk about that a little bit later. But inner harmony is something that, if you have a lot of inner harmony, if you cultivate that, then happiness becomes a byproduct or a side effect.
Mm. And how do we go about cultivating that inner harmony?
There are quite a lot of different fertilizers for cultivating inner harmony. One of them would be saying yes to who you are, accepting who you are and celebrating who you are. And when I say who you are, I don't mean just the human personality self. That's wonderful to accept everything about yourself, including the human part. But I also like to just, invite people to celebrate their divinity, to celebrate and take joy in being made in the image of Source, to just really notice and recognize and acknowledge the glory and the magnificence within you. These things, if you just really continue to marinate in that from one day to the next, it can really help to produce some inner harmony.
Oh my goodness, yes. So many of us don't even recognize our magnificence. Like just the fact that we are here, that we are alive, that we are having these human experiences is a miracle.
Indeed. And, not to turn God into a person, but just to give it some perspective about how it used to be for me when I was in my 20s, and maybe some other people can relate to this. There I was, just so bitter and jealous all the time, and God was giving me this amazing, miraculous gift of life, and it didn't even occur to me to be anything except bitter and complaining and blaming, and so I just wasn't really receiving the gift very graciously. It can really help to turn that around and just be grateful for the gift of life that you've received. And not only grateful for the gift of life, but also being grateful for who you are and your uniqueness and just everything about you, for the chance to love, for the heart within you and your heart's capacity to love. All of these things can really be uplifting.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so going back to those who don't understand their greatness and the amount of miracle that they are, what do you say to those people who just don't see that in them and don't understand the value of that quite yet?
Yeah, when I'm working with clients, the way I approach my work is not really to have that many conversations. At this point in my career, what I'm doing is I'm just sort of presenting workshops, you might say. I could be offering the workshop with a group in the course of one day. Instead, I break it up into weekly segments with my clients. And in other words, what I'm saying is that I've designed exercises and I've borrowed exercises that are designed to help people have their own ahas, their own insights and awareness. So I don't feel like it's my job necessarily to point out to people, oh, you're being ungracious for this amazing gift of life, or, oh, aren't you overlooking this amazing light within you and this amazing possibility and opportunity to love people and stuff. I don't really do that when I'm working with clients. I tend to, although I'm happy to do that on the radio with you tonight, I just tend to usually just allow people to have their own insights from the exercises.
Yeah, because then it's their own experience. It's not something that you're like forcing on them or kind of hinting them to go a certain way. It's their own inner truth.
Yes, I think that's the most powerful thing is just from your own experience, from your lived experience, from doing exercises or whatever it is. If you just coming to your own realizations, that really does help it to sink in and let it be your own where you are now.
I know for me, nobody's telling me what to think or how to feel. I've definitely got to do that on my own. I'm stubborn that way. Like, it's not authentic to me until I have that experience for myself.
Yes. And, I don't really like to think of myself as being a teacher, or I don't like to preach. I don't like to lecture. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to stay away from that this evening. I just want to share with people pointers for other directions that are possible to go in. Mm-hmm. So maybe if somebody hasn't thought of the possibility of spending a couple of minutes every morning upon waking up saying, thank you for the opportunity I have to love today, whatever those opportunities are, however I encounter them. That's something that I'm just putting out there as an idea, for anyone who wants to adopt the idea.
Yeah, offer suggestions. That's really good. People who are listening to the show a lot of times, from what I understand from the feedback and the emails I receive, they're all seeking something that resonates with them. So any bit of advice or suggestions or offerings you have for them, please share, because I think all of us that's our human nature. I would hope a lot of us anyway, if not all of us, are really seeking truth for ourselves.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm happy to share what I've learned along the way. And there is another way to cultivate harmony that I'd like to touch on also briefly.
Okay, please do.
Okay. This is going to sound a little bit like going back to the 1950s, because we don't hear the word character a lot anymore. That's an old-fashioned word, I think. And the thing is that I wish we would bring it back into our culture a little bit more, because it does help with self-trust. And self-trust is a key to inner harmony. The deeper your trust for yourself is, the more reference points you have about how you can be a kind and in integrity person, the more self-trust you have, and that also supports inner harmony, which leads to happiness. I said a lot of stuff in the last sentence, and so maybe I need to unpack it a little bit.
Go ahead. Yeah. Get as detailed as you'd like, because, again, we're all just looking for ourselves also.
Yeah. Just one thing that we can all consider is, for example, if you've been just being honest can be a way to build your self-trust. If you decide, I'm going to be more honest than I've ever been in my life, and then you just live out that commitment to be honest with yourself, honest with other people, honest about, anything and everything, that can help with raising your self-trust, because, then you just look back at how you were honest throughout the day, and, you can trust yourself to be honest in the future. And also with kindness. I was at a cafe the other day, and somebody had ordered a coffee, and then she looked in her purse. She found that she had forgotten to bring her debit card, and she had forgotten to bring money with her. And the lady behind her said, I insist on paying. So the lady behind her was just giving her this kindness. And I think that the science has proven that when you give kindness, when you're kind in that way, when you receive kindness, and also when you're witnessing kindness, there are some chemical results that can increase the happiness level. Mm-hmm. So I found myself feeling very uplifted when I was watching the lady be so kind and pay for the other lady's coffee. And I have a funny feeling that this is something that this lady does all the time, that she's just always on the lookout for how can I be kind to other people. And that, I think, just gives her a consistent stream of reference points about herself, that she can just trust herself to be kind. She doesn't have to worry about that. She can just really feel good about herself and have a deep self-trust just from that little thing of being kind from one day to the next.
It is contagious, too.
I haven't done that research.
Well, I mean, if you see for instance, you talk about a coffee shop. I've had this experience several times where I'll go to pay for my coffee and the person ahead of me has already paid for it. So then I pay for the person behind me, and then they pay for the person behind them. Like, it continues on, paying it forward. And it's such a beautiful thing to be a part of and witness.
Oh, I love that. You're inspiring me to give paying forward a try next time I'm in the cafe.
Well, it really feels good. Even if you don't know who it's going to, you just know that your positive energy and your giving, your selfless giving is out in the world. And it really does change someone's day. Just like when you're walking down the street and you simply give someone a smile, that smile goes a lot further than you would even know.
Yeah, I do appreciate that. Anyway.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm just thinking about other ways to up the level of self-trust. And it can also be just being generally considerate and thoughtful. For example, if you were invited to a dinner party, your friend was saying that she hadn't seen this friend of hers for years, and she wants you to meet this guy. You show up, and you end out disagreeing with something that the guest says at the dinner party. If you just go ahead and either ignore the disagreement or respond in a civil way that you don't share that opinion, then that's a considerate way to not really ruin the dinner party. On the other hand, if you just really have this aggressive tone when you say that you disagree with the dinner guest, then when you get home, you might have some regrets about how you ruined or put a damper on the dinner party, and you weren't really honoring your friend's desire to have a wonderful occasion. So these are the kinds of things that you'll either regret that you didn't take the opportunity to be sensitive, or you'll have a good experience, and the next time you go to a dinner party, you'll be able to trust yourself to once again be restrained if you need to just do whatever you can to contribute to a wonderful dinner party. Whatever we do, we are either taking money out of our self-trust bank account or we're putting a deposit into the account. And this is the kind of little stuff that can make a difference in our level of inner harmony. And whenever we are upping the level of inner harmony, we really are increasing the chances of happiness showing up, the default level of happiness, the happy for no reason kind.
That's some really good advice. Really
well,
good.
It seems to work from what I can see.
From your experience, and that's what this is about tonight, is you and your experiences. Speaking of experiences, we did have a question in the chat room. They were wondering how you arrived at this path of helping others achieve the happiness. How did you decide?
All my life I have, like I was saying earlier, I got my purpose when I was 19, so to speak. It just was a wonderful moment when I knew that it was all about uplifting people. So I've always had a passion for serving the world and for uplifting people on a soul level. And then after I began to take more ownership of my life and I stopped blaming and I sort of got out of the bitterness, that kind of freed me up from all of the stuckness, all of the stuff that was getting in the way of me going after my dreams. I always had these dreams, and yet the bitterness and stuff was getting in the way. So it was just a matter of following one step after another, following my path. And one of the things it led me to was to working with Marcy Shimoff. She wrote a bestseller about 10 years ago called Happy for No Reason, a New York Times bestseller. And she's the one who certified me to lead workshops on happiness. So I'm just privileged to have found her and then got a chance to get trained by her. And so now I'm doing her workshops in addition to my own work.
Oh, that's really great. What is your favorite thing about workshops? Is it the amount of people that you can reach, or what is it for you? What is the purpose of you doing workshops?
For me, it's the passion that I have for life and everything is so often just around being of service to people. I just love to make a difference in people's lives.
That's so good. Go ahead.
Okay. At some point, I would love to talk about one of the other back doors that I mentioned just a few minutes ago to the happiness house, and that's the door of poise. I call it poise.
You can do that now.
Wonderful. When I talk about poise, what I'm talking about is sort of being aware of the forks in the road that come along, that we encounter every day. It's so easy to just go through the day, reacting in the habitual way to whatever triggers you. Maybe you get, let me think, what is something that triggers me? Well, I have a friend who always gets triggered when he smells weed. I don't have any problem with that, but my friend, I think it's because he feels a little nauseous when he has a problem with it. So he just really gets all upset about that, and I don't think he really recognizes. Maybe I'll talk with him sometime. I don't think he recognizes that he really is at a fork of the road in terms of whether he responds with his usual, getting all upset and flustered and his feathers are all ruffled, or having a different, more centered, more peaceful response. We're constantly at forks in the road, and it's so easy to just stay on the path that we're used to staying on. And this interferes with increasing our inner harmony.
Yeah, it absolutely does. We just get so comfy, but it is something that we also become very uncomfortable with because it leads to unhappiness. It leads to discomfort.
Right.
When we're stuck in that way.
Yeah.
Was there any other ways that you were going to share?
Well, I guess that's all I have in mind right this moment.
Okay. Well, all very good. All very good. I'm definitely going to go and listen to the replay of this show so I can take notes. I can't take them now as I talk to you because I'm so in the moment listening to what you have to share. It's all really good stuff. I think all of us are guilty of that, being triggered, having someone say something, or like your friend, how he walks by a certain smell or whatever that looks like. It's so easy for us to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's how we are as humans. That's how we're wired. And there's really no need to look at yourself and judge yourself for that. Judging yourself for getting triggered isn't going to help you at all. It's just a matter of having some awareness of what your triggers are, and then being willing to just notice and be a witness and catch yourself without judgment. You can just catch yourself getting triggered and have an intention to maybe do a little better next time.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the awareness that we obtain as we become more aware of how we're feeling, and the journey of loving ourselves is taking note and observing the way that we act and react to people, places, and things, situations, experiences, whatever that looks like.
Yes, and I'm so glad you brought up self-love. One of the things that is so important, and I don't really hear hardly anyone talking about this, at least not in my circle. It's so important to love each and every voice within you, each and every part of you, unconditionally. And I just love guiding people through guided visualizations and stuff, where you get a chance to approach the little one in you who might be resisting getting out of bed in the morning, or who might be just really angry at the world in general, or who might be resisting spiritual growth and not at all interested in any of this. Just whatever the resistance is, whatever the voice is, every single part of you needs to be loved unconditionally and with no strings attached, exactly the way they are. Mm-hmm. In other words, it's really important to communicate with each part of you in a loving way without an agenda of, oh, I want to be loving towards you or say I love you because maybe that'll change you. It has to be 100% unconditional love, just the way they are.
Mm-hmm. And that's a work in progress, I think, for anybody.
Yes, it can be a gradual journey and something that we need to return to again and again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that you brought up the forgiveness part of it, because just because we have one day of not like fully being present and loving ourselves doesn't mean we can't just jump right back into that belief. It's like anything else, you just get back up on the horse and saddle up again.
That's right.
Yeah.
We don't need to really carry our past with us.
No, and I don't know why we are so conditioned to do so. I'm guilty of it, but I also carry it around a lot because it's a good reminder of where I've been and how far I've come. And so not carry it around like a heavy backpack by any means, but like a gentle reminder, like, hey, go you're doing the things. Look how far you've come.
Beautiful.
Just before we brought up the whole self-love thing with what I was talking to you about, I was headed into a question I wanted to ask you from a listener in the chat room. How do you handle all of the negativity that happens in the press, like with all of the politics and things like that essentially split people up instead of uniting people together?
What a good question. I don't tend to follow the news all that much. I may end out looking at the headlines. I may be aware of things in general because it's kind of hard not to be aware of things in general. But I don't spend a lot of time dwelling in it or reading all the details or really just becoming an expert in what the latest news is. And I really do think that that's helpful. I think that it can be easy to sort of become rather addicted, actually, to following all of the news stories. Mm-hmm. And I really don't think that does much for the world. I really believe that we're being invited at this time to step into a spirit of celebration, celebrating who we are, celebrating the possibilities that lie before us, because I really think that we have a new era showing up in the world, and things will be different within the next generation or two. So I think that the way in which we can contribute to our evolution is by not getting too bogged down in the darkness that might be around us, but just remembering to always turn our direction towards the light. That can really contribute to and speed up the evolution, I believe.
Yeah, I love that you brought all of that up. In fact, we're going to have to take a quick break. When we get back, I do want to ask you a question in regards to what you just shared with us. You guys stay close. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back after these few messages.
Author Kathleen Watts, a.k.a. Thought Continuum, shares a double abduction experience in her book, Catch Me If You Can, a story of alien abduction and culprit plunder. This 1976 true life account of a close encounter in northern Utah near Hill Air Force Base. Imagine driving home from the movies with your spouse when your car suddenly stops working, and it's in that very same moment that you realize you are the only thing animated. Catch Me If You Can, the 5th anniversary edition with lead-in material for the upcoming release of Payback is a Glitch from award-winning author Kathleen Watts. Get your copy today. Log on to thoughtcontinuum.com. That's thoughtcontinuum.com.
Hey everybody, Rachel Ray here. Nothing brings a bigger smile to my face than cooking up a big meal for the whole family and lots of friends. But there's not enough room at my table for the 17 million kids in our country who struggle with hunger. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks collects surplus food to give hope to hungry kids. But they can't do it without your help. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Folks, this is very important information. What's to be said about CBD? AncientLifeOil.com. Our CBD is made from hemp and has 0.003 THC, which means this wonderful product won't get you high, no matter what amount you take. What does CBD do for the body? My hands are tied, but you can Google CBD benefits and be astounded. When you're finished reading, you'll want to log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com and purchase. Life is good when you feel good. People are tired of pain. People are asking for non-GMO organic products to help them with, you fill in the blank. Legal in 49 states, and again, our CBD is made from hemp. Ancient Life Oil is about helping people one by one by one. If you wonder how good the product is, the CEO takes it every day without miss. AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Have a great day.
More ways for you to make contact. Live Discord chat rooms, live talk radio, live videocast, toll-free HD phones, and coming this year, live streaming TV, giving you more ways to make contact. Your KGRAradio.com.
Hello, welcome back to the show, Soul Wanderings, heard here on KGRA Digital Broadcasting, Salt Lake City, Utah, and Hudson Valley, New York. You can find Soul Wanderings here as well as all of the social media platforms and all of the places you can listen to the replays, like iTunes and iHeartRadio and Spreaker, Spotify, all of them. And make sure you guys check out the official KGRA radio on YouTube. That's where all of the latest show archives are being placed, so you can watch them, listen to them over and over and over. So make sure you guys check it out, like, subscribe, follow, all the things. We really appreciate all of you for the support and sharing your time with us. It's just so good. Tonight we are visiting with Elliott Robertson. He is the author of Say Yes to Life, 7 Keys to Living Full Out from Within. And we've been talking about happiness and cultivating happiness and inner harmony and all of the things that make us feel good. Right, Elliott?
That's right.
All the feel good stuff. So I've received a handful of questions from the chat room. I want to get to them, but before the break, you were sharing all of these beautiful things with us, and we got into the whole self-love aspect, and it brought me to a place of asking you about spirituality and wondering, you brought up God, you brought up spirituality, you brought up a couple of things, but Does spirituality have much to do with everything you have shared with us in your world, at least? Or if someone isn't spiritual by any means, do you feel like they're able to achieve these experiences without that belief?
That is such a profound question. And I'm not sure if I really am qualified to answer the question from any perspective other than my own. And as someone who's been a spiritual person throughout my life, I can, say how things have, the choreography that I've experienced, how things have fallen into place for me. And I can share that with others. I just really don't know if I would end out, getting it wrong, if I were to sort of speculate or venture out into trying to answer that question.
There's no right or wrong answer. I'm just asking from your experience, from your point of view, what do you feel on that?
Well, let me just start by saying that I'm totally interspiritual. I think of truth as a tree with lots of different roots, including Christian roots, Hindu roots, Jewish roots, Buddhist roots, and so on and so forth. And I think all of the roots, help lead to the truth that the tree is. So I just love every place I find truth or spirituality. I really enjoy that. And I'm very excited about how science is all of a sudden lining up with a lot of things that the mystics have said in the past, such as Meister Eckhart and Hildegard. And so what I see happening quite possibly is a new scientific language that might include words like quantum field that might be pointing in the same direction as the sermons of Meister Eckhart and Hildegard and Julian of Norwich and the saints, the people who a lot of people have been quoting over the years. It's sort of like science is basically saying that the saints over the years have been telling it like it is, even without the benefit of microscopes to help them figure out what the universe or what the cosmos is like.
Oh, that's so good. So that leads me to another question that was asked in the chat room quite earlier in the first half of the show. The listener was wondering if you had a background in organized religion, and if so, could you describe it because you talk in a spiritual language?
Yes, I sometimes I talk in traditional language, and sometimes I talk in spiritual language. I just use whatever words come to me. Right these days, I am worshiping with Episcopal. Recently I decided that what I'm doing during the hour of worship is actually activating my 7 chakras. I think that is what's happening. And in the past, I've always called it worship. I've always been thinking, oh, the Holy Spirit is so present here. And maybe that's also equally true. Maybe you can frame spirituality in whatever language you want. And of course, the words are never really going to capture the great essence of spirituality. You know what's interesting is that I'm all about happiness from the inside out. I'm a happiness coach, but I can't make any of my clients happy. Nobody can make anyone else happy. It's an inside job, and all of us have to do the work from the inside out. And what I'm interested also in is spirituality from the inside out. I'm interested in just going deep within, and maybe the universe is within us, and certainly this very, very deep within, there must be a true self that we can encounter, a higher self. And I'm just all about letting that divinity within come forward and express and become more present in our day-to-day lives.
Such a great answer to that.
Yes, happiness and spirituality and everything is all inside out from within. I don't know if there's anything out in the universe that we can really find or not.
Yeah, and I love that you brought that it is the happiness is an inside job. Like we cannot make other people happy, and I feel like especially when we're with really good friends or we're really close to another human or in a relationship or whatever that looks like, we are so dependent on them making us happy that we forget that the power is all inside of us, and that our ability to be happy is from inside of us.
Yes, what you're reminding me of is some experience that St. Francis had. He was walking in nature like he often did, and he was near a ditch, and he encountered 4 guys who were walking around, and the 4 of them, out of the blue, immediately decided to just push him into the ditch. It was wintertime, so he landed in a bunch of snow in the ditch. He immediately started laughing. His state of consciousness on the inside was so elevated that he was able to experience divine happiness, divine laughter, even in a moment like that. It just, he was in a happy place, and getting pushed into the ditch didn't take away his happiness at all.
Right. He didn't give his power away.
Yeah, and he didn't. What I would have done, especially in my youth, was I would have been like, oh, this is so unfair. God, you are doing it all wrong. This doesn't match my picture of how things should be. And whenever we're caught up in how things should be on the outside, or wanting them to be something that's going to be making us happy, whenever we just put our energy out in that direction and tie ourselves to the outer events, we are setting ourselves up to be disappointed, frustrated. We just really are stacking the odds against us in terms of our journey to happiness.
I agree. That's why I always say, don't should all over me, or I do my best not to should all over anyone else, because that doesn't help us at all. It just sets us up for failure.
The word should is always going to get in the way for sure.
Mm-hmm. We just need to take that out of the English dictionary completely.
That's a good idea.
It really isn't that great of a word to be using. I have focused on the words I use and the vibration thereof, how you just make a simple change, like instead of saying should, maybe say ought to or something like that, but should and need and things like that are just so negative to me. When you change the words that you use, the entire vibration of your experience changes with it.
And vibration is so important. When I was a 20-year-old, I was going around with a low vibration, and I continued to do that day after day, and every day I was reinforcing the low vibration. Whenever I went to the grocery store and I saw somebody with a bunch of goodies in their basket, and I was down to my last few dollars, and I was really saying, this is so unfair that this person is younger than me and can afford so many more groceries than I can, I was reinforcing that low vibration.
Right.
And so I'm all about encouraging people to just keep going for the higher vibration and trust that that's going to continue to reinforce the high level. And eventually, it will become the natural level of vibration that you experience.
Yeah, vibration is, to me, it's everything. Like it's part of creating the environment in which we live by thought and action, by the things we say, by what we eat, by the people we surround ourselves with, the environment we choose to live in.
It's also being optimistic and hopeful.
Yes.
Those optimism, hope, joy, they all carry high vibrations. Being open to the possibility of things getting better can be one way of being optimistic. Being willing to see things changing for the better, or leaving your house in the morning with a feeling of expectancy and anticipation and just wondering what good things are coming your way. All of these are ways of getting into a good high vibration.
Yes, those are wonderful things. And it you talk about that happiness that we're all seeking. Those are really great ways to find that bliss, to find that happiness.
Yes, it can, especially if it's done consistently. It can really add up. When you've got a bucket under a leaky faucet, then it catches all the drops, and eventually things do change.
I love that you're proof of that, and that you're an example to everyone you come in contact with, so you can show them, look, I was this way and now I'm this way. It's so neat that you decided to make this your passion in life to share with others.
Well, I'm just grateful that I was able to make this journey. And I really do think that if I can make the journey, it's something that anyone can make. There's nothing special or extraordinary about me. I'm just another human being. Or on the other hand, maybe there's a lot of stuff extraordinary about me that's extraordinary about everybody. We're all really just the same. But, as long as we're on this topic, I do want to emphasize the importance of feeling all of your feelings. Mm-hmm. Because it isn't about being happy 24/7. It's about being present to the feelings that arise within you. And if the feeling is one of sadness or anger or whatever, it's about allowing that feeling to be coursing through you and then letting it go. There's no need to nurse the anger and keep it with you as a grudge or whatever for a while. But that is also so important, to just have no repression and just allow the feelings to be felt within you.
I believe that wholeheartedly. While we're on that topic, I like to ask people when they bring up that same thing about allowing your feelings to flow through you and not holding on to them. Do you believe that holding on to those negative feelings, experiences, all of that stuff causes disease?
You know what? I just can't answer questions that I'm not an expert at. I apologize. I don't really have any.
Fine. I was just curious. I love to ask people if they feel like that is something, like energetically, because it's all energy, if that's something that you would think would create that type of environment. But that's fine. There is another question from the chat room. Do you see a distinction between joy and peace?
I haven't really done much focusing on peace over the years. I imagine that I could decide that peace and inner harmony go hand in hand, in which case happiness might be the fruit of that. I will say this. I think that we all come into the world with an undercurrent of joy, and it stays with us until our dying day. And I'm glad the questioner framed the question in terms of joy, because I'm so glad to kind of have a chance to explore joy versus happiness. Joy is something that is just divinely in us, along with the light and love that we were born with, and along with our magnificence and glory. And the thing is that we get so distracted, the monkey mind shows up, we get caught up in judgments, we end out getting stuck and sort of following a path, and the stepping stones all go in a circle, and we end out going on the same stones again, the next circle round. So there are a lot of things that end up tripping us up and getting in the way. And so we don't necessarily notice the undercurrent of joy that we're born with. We don't necessarily tap into it all that often, or really live with it as a lived experience. And I'm not so sure I would say necessarily that we're born with happiness. I think that we can think of happiness and joy as being two slightly different things.
I feel like they're different things also. Yeah. You claim to be a love and joy coach. So at the beginning of the show, we did introduce you as a happiness coach. And then I read that you're a love and joy coach, and they are two very different things. What was the reason behind you changing your title, if you will, to the joy coach?
Yeah, it was primarily that I was noticing, and I was also getting feedback from other people that that I really work on a deeper level, and the deeper level is where the joy is.
Mm-hmm. I know you kind of like little touched on it at the beginning of the show, but I didn't know if there was like a deeper purpose or meaning, because they are two very different things. Going through your website, I noticed that you're into meditation. We talk about meditation quite a bit on the show.
Well, I do Sahaj, but I think that self-care is what's really important. And for me, self-care looks like meditation. I know what you're thinking of. You're thinking of the products that I have called meditations. And in fact, those are audio products, audios, MP3s, and there really are guided visualizations. So I might need to change my website to say guided visualization instead of meditation. But it is a meditative experience.
It takes you down a meditation, right?
Yeah, it is a meditative experience. You get into the same brain waves, I suppose. Those can be helpful.
A little bit more about that.
Yeah, the thing about meditations, guided visualizations, is that it does engage the imagination. And when you're engaging imagination, I feel like things are able to sink deeper within you. Certainly the affirmations at the end might have a better chance of going deeper and being affirmations that are really meaningful to you. It's like the fast route, in other words. To embracing the affirmations, the faster route to really living the affirmations.
Is it because it takes you on like a deeper subconscious level?
Perhaps that's it.
That would make sense. We had a guest on the show last week, Susan Shumsky. I'm not sure if you've heard of her before, but she really got into the meditations and the chakras, and you did bring that up earlier. But I just love how it just comes into full circle, and I bring her up because the energy feels very similar to me. You guys are doing much different things, but the energy is very similar. She's found herself on a spiritual path, if you will, and it goes back to chakra work and meditations and affirmations, and you brought those up as well.
Yes, it sounds to me like I would think of her as a self-care coach based on what you've told me. There are just so many different ways to go about having self-care as part of your life. And I think it's just a matter of finding the ones that you're attracted to. Mm-hmm. For me, I'm attracted to a certain kind of meditation. So every morning I spend 20 minutes. It includes a mantra. It's one of those kinds of meditations. So for me, that's one of my self-care routines. And self-care is really key to spiritual growth, I think. I could change my title, and I might at some point, to spiritual growth coach, because that's really what coaching inner harmony is all about, and what coaching when you're coaching for poise and awareness of choices along the way. That's also the foundation for all of this work, from my point of view, is spiritual growth.
I love this. It's so good to me just because I'm resonating with it so much.
Wonderful. I'm glad it speaks to you.
It definitely does. And wow, I've noticed like my whole entire, I don't even know how to explain it. You'll probably understand it, and anyone else who does do meditation first thing in the morning, how it completely shifts everything for you throughout the day.
You know what? For me, the test has been, I've had a couple of times when I have skipped meditation, a handful of times, and inevitably what happens is that I realize, oh my God, I'm not really where I need to be. I notice that things are a little bit at a lower vibration after a few hours of the day has gone by, and I end out doing meditation a little bit later than usual.
Yes, like you notice there is a difference. Definitely. The practice is such a gift that we are allowed to have, and so thankful for it, and that it was introduced into my life, and that you're sharing it as something that you do as well.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I just do know from my own experience that it can really make a difference.
Mm-hmm. We talk about meditation. It brings me to the question I remember someone asked in the chat room. Do you find that posture has an effect on creating a happier mood?
That's something I really haven't experimented with. But the thing is that I'm grateful for the question and the use of the word posture. I do a lot of focusing on inner posture. That's a term that I think I may have made up. I don't think I've heard anybody else use that term. And inner posture can be something like humility. That's one inner posture. It's the opposite of arrogance. It's, in my book, and in my definition, humility is seeing yourself in a very honest, straightforward way, including seeing the divinity within you in a very honest way. Trying to agree with God is what humility is. Instead of arrogantly saying, God, you've got it wrong, I'm a no good for nothing. Saying, yes, God, I surrender to your vision, and I just being committed to seeing yourself through your heart's eyes. I'm so glad grateful for that question about posture, because now that I'm talking about heart size, I realize that perhaps the question you asked earlier about will people who don't identify as being spiritual be able to get anything from what I have to offer? I just now realized that my focus is the heart more than anything else. And I have a friend who used to be a Sufi, and I think she's dropped that label, and now she just thinks of herself and her spirituality as being all about her heart. So I wonder if people who don't want to use the word God or source or have anything to do with anything spiritual, if they're open to just acknowledging the beauty of the heart, the nobility within the heart, the possibility of the heart giving way to love and expressing love, I think that might be enough to resonate with some of my messages.
Yes, that is so good. Maybe that's something that you can add to your writings or on your website, because I think a lot of people could understand and appreciate that, where that's coming from, if they aren't spiritual, so they don't just tune out and not pay attention or listen, so they actually receive your message and feel it in their hearts as well.
I'm just so grateful for this conversation with you. It's really helping me understand what I'm doing.
That's wonderful. I mean, that organic conversation is the best, if you ask me. We learn so much about each other and about ourselves, and different ways that we can implement these new teachings into our lives. It's just an amazing platform and gift that we have. We're going to take our last break for the night. Like I always say, the show goes by so fast. When we return, we'll have the last little bit to share with our guest, Elliott Robertson. We'll be right back, you guys. Stay close.
Feeling sluggish, bloated, gassy, and, well, you know, want some relief? Try Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. Our unique blend of all natural herbs go to work on your digestive tract, giving you So before you try our super strength formula. It does a great job removing intruders that jack you up. Thousands of people use Life Change Tea every month, so try it because you're gonna love the way you feel. And here's a little pick-me-up. Order now and receive 10% off your first order by entering in 10 today in the coupon code. That's 10 today in the coupon code. Go to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Enter 10 today in the coupon code for your 10% discount. Wow, feeling good never felt so good. Get some tea love at getthetea.com. Changing America one tea bag at a time.
Ew, yuck. They're unhealthy and gross. Bugs, I hate bugs. We keep a clean home, but occasionally bugs show up. Well, I found something that is tougher than bugs. Orange Guard. From contact, it kills bugs. Plus, Orange Guard kills hidden bugs and keeps new bugs away for weeks. I know. I use Orange Guard. Plus, all of the ingredients of Orange Guard are on the FDA generally regarded as safe list. Orange Guard may be used around food, humans, and pets. It promotes a healthier planet, and here's a bonus. Orange Guard cleans where it's sprayed. Plus, it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Orange Guard.
You can get Orange Guard at Ace Hardware. And listen, folks, Orange Guard is tougher than bugs, and it's safe to use. Go to orangeguard.com. That's orangeguard.com. Saucer is the leading innovator of original and authentic UFO-inspired essentials and apparel, symbolizing self-enrichment and advancement. Believe in style and elevate your craft at thesaucerbrand.com.
For years, the KGRA digital broadcast station has been your contact for live UFO paranormal talk radio worldwide, bringing you the top names in research and investigations 7 nights a week. Our listeners connect to the KGRA on various platforms like TalkStream Live, TuneIn, Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and many more. Now, you can stream your favorite paranormal talk radio shows with our new fully integrated custom KGRA mobile apps for Android and iPhones. Listen to your favorite paranormal talk shows from any mobile device 24/7, free with smartphone or tablet. Utilize custom features to access news, show pages, archives, contests, events, and live interactive chat rooms. Set show notification alerts and never miss your favorite live programs. All free and available to download in Google Play or the iTunes App Store. This is Soul Wanderings Radio.
Welcome back to Soul Wanderings, heard here on KGRA Radio. That's KGRAradio.com. For those of you who are wondering how you can get your hands, or ears, I should say, on some good alternative talk radio, head over to the website. Check out all the shows that are hosted there. There's so many. Just listen to them all. I know you have time, in the car, at work, at home, wherever you want. Tonight we are visiting with Elliott Robertson. He is the author of Say Yes to Life, 7 Keys to Living Full Out from Within. And he's also a love and joy coach. Oh, that's so good. So we have yet to speak or talk or conversate or hear about your book, Elliott.
I'd be glad to share some of the keys that I have in the book if you'd like.
Yes, absolutely. Share away.
One of the keys is say yes to grief. And that is so important. We were talking a little bit earlier about the importance of feeling all of your feelings. And so that's really the main message in the chapter, Say Yes to Grief.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I like to imagine a beach ball on the surface of a swimming pool. And the beach ball is a bunch of different colors. And in other words, it's a bunch of different feelings. And it's all one unit. It's just the feeling aspect of you, the riverbed on which all of the different feelings flow. So we've got that one unit of all of the different colors, and it's visible, and it's there on the surface of the water. But if you end up putting some effort into pushing it down and submerging it, then you don't really see all of those colors and really experience everything that the beach ball offers. And you're not really feeling it all, and you go a little bit numb. And what ends out happening is that you decided maybe that you didn't want to experience the sadness. And so you pushed it down to get rid of that, and you ended up getting rid of the entire range of feelings, the entire experience of the happiness and joy also. So it's so important to not repress feelings, just to feel them 100% if you want any chance for feeling happiness as well.
Mm-hmm. I love that you brought up the grief aspect. We are so conditioned as humans not to cry, not to be sad, not to stay in that place of, grief or whatever that looks like for too long. And so we're not really allowing ourselves to be authentic in how we're feeling and really process what it is going on in our hearts and minds.
Yes, Marianne Williamson once said something like this, and I paraphrase, cry every tear that needs to be cried, not just some of them.
Mm.
And that's what you were saying, that, sometimes we condition ourselves or get conditioned to allow ourselves to grieve, but only for a certain length of time or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Saint Therese had an experience when she was 4. She lost her mother. Saint Therese was living about 100 years ago. And then her older sister became her next mother, her second mother. And then her older sister, when St. Therese was 9, her older sister went to the convent, and at that time, the convent that she was going to didn't really allow her to leave the convent and visit St. Therese anymore. So she was devastated both times. And yet she cried her tears and was fully and completely with her grief each time. And at the same time, she was able to let that flow through her and move on to the next thing, and also to experience trust in the goodness of life.
That's really nice. What are some other tips or other?
I have other keys for sure.
I
have other keys.
The tricks and all those things, but you call them keys. What are some other keys?
Yeah, it's really important to say yes to freedom from the past.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of almost touched on it earlier when we were talking about letting go of beliefs and how difficult that can be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's even more difficult, I think, to let go of beliefs about your identity, beliefs about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to be free from the past, I just really encourage you to think of each day as bringing a blank canvas and fresh paints, and you can paint a new self-portrait, allowing yourself that freedom to paint, every day a new you, a new way of looking at you, a new way of believing what is true about you. It can be really informed by the way God sees you. It can be a self-portrait that is from your heart's vision, your heart's eyes, the eyes of love.
That is so good. I just want to be like, yes, so I can see where you got the title of the book.
Yeah, we do have a choice about whether we're going to say yes to freedom from the past or just cling on to the beliefs that we have been walking around with.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to choose into allowing ourselves freedom from the past. In other words, we need to be willing to be wrong about who we think we are.
Oh my gosh, yes. So this is so good that you're sharing that because we did touch on it earlier, but I'm glad that you brought it up again. Like reliving the past does not ever set us free. And
Nope.
I just love that you brought that up. It gives me goosebumps.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because you reminded me that it's really very close to, very tied in with being present to who you are now, being present to the moment now, being present to what might be possible now. And, as we progress with our spiritual growth, what might be possible might be a little bit different from what was possible when we were not quite as self-aware and not quite as mature as we are now.
Yeah. So try again, friends. Try again.
Yes. It's a new moment.
Yes. It's so neat because at first you don't succeed. Try again. Like really do. Give it an honest effort every single time because you can always start over.
Yes. And another key is saying yes to knowing what you want. And that's a little bit different from saying yes to what you want. It's saying yes to knowing what you want. Mm-hmm. And, I believe that we all in our hearts have this universal commonality. We all want to love and to be loved. We all want to enjoy life to the hilt. We all want to be contributing to the world or being of service in some way. So there are a bunch of different things that we can get in touch with, all of these different desires that I think are fairly commonplace, if not universally commonplace in human beings. And I'm just encouraging and inviting everyone to get out of the monkey mind and go into the heart and just know exactly or generally or vaguely just tap into what is it that you want.
Mm-hmm. It's a good question to ask yourself often.
Yes, and I really do think that very often the answer that will show up is, well, I want to be really loving. I want to have a loving experience. I want there to be a peaceful world, and I want to do what I can do to create a peaceful world, where I am, just by desiring it.
Mm-hmm. Do you really feel like it is that simple?
I think it can be very simple, yes. I'm not going to say that it's necessarily always easy.
Right. Yeah, I like the realistic part of that response because it's true. When you are working on yourself and developing yourself and feeling your feels and things like that, it can get messy. It can get challenging, but it's also worth it in the end. Personally, I feel that way.
Yes, I hear what you're saying.
Do you want to share any other keys?
Sure, I'd be glad to. Another key is saying yes to your uniqueness. And I kind of touched on that earlier when I was saying that it's so important to celebrate who you are when you are trying to cultivate self-trust. Celebrating the divinity within you is a wonderful way to increase your level of self-trust. And self-trust, once again, as a reminder, can help with cultivating greater inner harmony, mm-hmm. which leads to the fruit of happiness. But saying yes to your uniqueness goes beyond just saying yes to the divinity within you. It's also saying yes to what I think of as your heart print. We all have fingerprints, and we all have heart prints. And we all have unique heart prints. And just noticing what it is that's unique about you and taking joy in it is a wonderful form of, it can be thought of as self-care, and it can be supportive on the journey towards happiness.
Mm. What do you consider a heart print?
It's just a way of thinking about how you are unique. I think that our uniqueness sometimes is a quality that is sort of deeper than the personality. It might be just, well, let's see, what's some of my unique qualities? You know, I'm going to sort of shift it over to gifts. That's one way to think of it. My gift for writing is a gift I think that I may have been born with. It's something I'm passionate about and love doing. And I really think I have a gift for it. My gift for being gentle and tender. So we all have countless gifts, and they can be sort of more like action things like writing, and they can also be states of being.
They can also be what?
Qualities like gentleness and tenderness. So we've got, in my case, I was giving a couple of examples. I was talking about my gift for being a writer or for writing, and so that's sort of an action. Uh-huh. And I was also giving an example of my gift for being gentle and tender.
Yeah, okay.
Which is one of my unique gifts, and that is more of a quality.
Mm-hmm. So beautiful.
Would you like to share some of your uniquenesses?
You turn the mic around to me. I am rediscovering myself, that's for sure, and I'm looking at myself in a more gentle, loving way than I ever have before. And that right there, I feel very unique in my surroundings, because I'm not sure a lot of people that I come in contact with have quite gotten to that place of really looking at themselves that way outside of the people that I work with.
Yeah,
so
I see. Well, another key is the key to saying yes to your expansiveness. Mm-hmm. And, you know, in a way, you could think about that as being the opposite of being stuck in contraction. Mm-hmm. When I was going around New York City and I was jealous of everybody and bitter about everything, you could say I was sort of contracted and constricted and just not really standing in the glory of who I am, and not really in touch with the undercurrent of joy in my heart. So saying yes to your expansiveness can be as simple as just taking ownership of the blaming, like I did my turnaround point, taking ownership of where you are and saying goodbye to blaming and committing to move on or move away from complaining and shaming. And just when all of that is left behind, what remains is your expansiveness. I feel like we are by nature expansive creatures who are so vast, and I feel like I'm just beginning to touch the iceberg and scrape the iceberg of who I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember flipping through your book, and I remember this key specifically because it started out with, when you say yes to expansion, you say yes to who you are, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And that statement, that sentence it just hit me. It hit me, and I was kind of like, wow, it's so simple, but it's so in depth.
Yeah, there's a lot of meaning in that. And it's partly when you say yes to your expansion, you're saying yes to the authentic self, because we are, by nature, expansive beings.
Mm. Very expansive.
Yeah, I just love
to know how expansive we are.
That's right. And we're noble and beautiful on the inside. All of that's there, along with the parts of ourselves that are resistant to all of that, and we do have archetypes that we have to contend with, like the saboteur who wants to sabotage everything. And for certain, it was definitely true that I was in the victim archetype for a long time in my life. I don't think I am anymore. I hope not.
Yeah, it's easy to fall victim to yourself. I've been there. I know a lot of people I've worked with have been there. It's definitely a trap that we get into.
Yeah, the human journey has a lot of different sides to it, a lot of different things, and a lot of them are really very commonplace. Like you were saying, the victim thing is something that so many people have as part of their journey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't know about you, but don't you feel when people share their story and they are in that victim mentality, what they're really seeking out is just to be heard and validated?
Maybe so.
Yeah, on some level. I know some people use it as an excuse or what their story is or whatever. Everyone's situation is different, but I know when I personally got out of that victim mentality, my whole entire life changed. Everything was possible.
Oh, that's beautiful. I'm all for looking at new possibilities and just being open to discovering more possibilities than you ever have before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It really is neat. There's one more key I hope that you bring up, but I'll let
Which
you.
one is that?
Say yes to the new.
Well, that's exactly what we were about to talk about. We were talking about possibilities. So that's a good segue. Saying yes to the new is a lot of it has to do with just being open to things that you've not yet experienced. It's about stepping into the not yet, or it's about allowing there to be more possibilities than you have ever experienced.
Mm. And everything and anything is possible.
With God's help, I would say.
Or your heart, however you want to look at that. Most definitely. Okay, so Elliott, it's towards the end of the show. I want to make sure that anyone and everyone who is excited to get in touch with you, they know how, or grab the book, they know how. What ways can they do that?
Yeah, there's one website to go to. It's www.sayyestolifebook.com. And when you get there, if you look at the bio there, you can find a link to my other website. And there's information about the book at that website. It's www.sayyestolifebook.com. There's also a free guided visualization being offered along with a PDF. So you can get that free package if you'd like.
Oh, how nice. We love gifts.
Well, even if you're not interested in the book.
.com.
Yeah, sayyestolifebook.com.
What were you going to say, even if you're not interested in the book?
Yeah, even if you're not interested in the book, you're welcome to just go there and get the gift.
Aw, you're so giving. You've given us 2 hours of your time and all of these amazing keys to happiness, your personal journey story, and now a free gift on your website. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure.
It absolutely has been fun. Where are you teaching workshops and speaking to crowds? Where in the area are you doing that?
Yeah, I do have a number of expos and events lined up, mostly on the East Coast. And I also, most of my private coaching, however, is online through Zoom because I do have clients in a lot of different places.
Oh, perfect. They can reach you and have a session, if you will, through Zoom.
That's right. And I like to just give the first session without a charge.
Oh, that's very generous. Very generous. We have listeners all over the world. So the fact that they can have access to you and your magic so simply is just wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much for making my day. I appreciate your celebrating.
Well, that's what the show is all about. We get to share stories about our guest, and you've been so generous. Thank you once again, Elliott. It's been a pleasure to have you here. Hope to connect with you again soon in the future.
Thank you so much.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
What a beautiful show, right, Wanderers? I just love this soul wandering bit. It's a good thing. If you guys are interested in hearing any other shows of Soul Wanderings, or perhaps listen to the replay of this show because, lots of note taking, make sure you are following KGRA Radio on YouTube. That's where all of the latest show archives are being placed. Like I said earlier, like, subscribe, share with your friends and family. And as I always say every week, let's keep having these conversations that bring awareness and awakening and movement into our experiences. They connect us and bring us all together. It's so good, right? Right? And I just want to give a big shout out to my producer, Race, tonight. He's got my back, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Race. And a big shout out to Eric, who assists him. I'm supported. This is a beautiful thing. And you guys, my Wanders. I'm loving the emails. I'm loving the conversations. Thank you for all of your support and writing me and sharing your experiences of the show and sharing your personal experiences and your growth and all of those things that you open up to me about. Your emails mean so much to me. Thank you. And thank you for being here with us tonight. Good night, Wanderers.